Let me ask you something. Do you honestly believe women only care about money? If that were true, billionaires would never get cheated on. Yet they do. Athletes with million-dollar contracts get left. Tech moguls worth billions watch their wives walk away. Even royalty, men with generational wealth, can't keep a woman interested. So here's the dark truth. There are 6 things women desire more than money. And once you understand these, you'll realize money is just one small piece of the puzzle. In fact, it might be the least important piece. Stay with me, because what I'm about to share is going to flip your entire understanding of attraction upside down. This isn't feel-good advice or politically correct nonsense. This is raw psychology, backed by evolutionary science and thousands of years of human behavior. 1. Power over your emotions. You know what women secretly crave? A man who doesn't crumble when life throws chaos his way? Most men think flexing wealth makes them attractive. They post pictures of expensive cars, designer clothes, luxury vacations. But if you can't handle stress, if you snap under pressure, if you lose control when things don't go your way, you've already lost her respect. Here's what's really happening. From a psychological standpoint, women equate emotional stability with safety. It's hardwired into their DNA. For thousands of years, women needed men who could stay calm during danger, whether that was a wild animal attack or a rival tribe invasion. That instinct hasn't disappeared. If you can control yourself when things go wrong, she feels secure with you. If you panic, she panics. If you're unstable, she sees you as a liability. Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius understood this centuries ago. He taught that control over your emotions is real power. Money can disappear overnight. The stock market crashes, businesses fail, inheritances get lost. But your state of mind? That's eternal strength. And here's the dark side. If you can stay calm when others panic, you instantly become magnetic, even intimidating. Other men will look to you for guidance. Women will be drawn to your stability like a magnet. Think about the last time you saw a man completely lose his composure in public, screaming at a waiter, road raging in traffic, having a meltdown over something minor. Did that make him more attractive? Did people respect him more? Of course not. Now think about a man who handles crisis with quiet confidence, who speaks softly but carries weight, who doesn't need to raise his voice because his presence alone commands attention. So ask yourself, are you her calm in the storm, or are you the storm that drives her away? 2. Social status and respect. Here's a bitter pill to swallow. Women don't just want your bank account, they want the status attached to you. Money without respect is like an empty trophy. It looks shiny, but holds no value. Let me paint you a picture. There are 2 men. Man A inherited millions, but everyone knows he's weak, incompetent, and relies entirely on family money. Man B works a regular job, but commands respect wherever he goes. People seek his advice. Other men want to be around him. When he speaks, rooms go quiet. Which man do you think women find more attractive? Psychology proves humans are tribal by nature. We've always lived in hierarchies, and women instinctively measure where you stand in that hierarchy. And here's the secret. Status can be earned without being rich. How? Through leadership, influence, and the way others react to you. Watch how people behave around you. Do they seek your opinion? Do they defer to your judgment? Do they compete for your attention? Or do you find yourself constantly trying to prove your worth, chasing validation, begging for recognition? Even the ancient Stoics believed that true wealth wasn't gold, it was reputation. Seneca once said, "A man is rich in proportion to the number of things he can afford to ignore." That's power, and that's respect. A man with high status doesn't need to prove himself constantly. He doesn't need to name drop or show off his possessions. His reputation speaks for itself. Women understand this intuitively. They can sense within minutes whether you're truly respected or just tolerated, whether you're a leader or a follower. whether other people genuinely value your presence or just put up with you. And the scary part? She knows instantly whether people admire you or just tolerate you. 3. Masculine discipline and self-control. Here's something dark psychology reveals. Women test men constantly, not because they're cruel, but because they want to feel a man's strength of will. These tests come in many forms. She might try to change your plans at the last minute to see if you'll cave. She might push boundaries to see if you'll hold your ground. She might create drama to see how you handle pressure. Most men fail these tests immediately. They bend over backward to please her. They abandon their principles at the first sign of resistance. They think being agreeable makes them attractive. But here's what women really want to know. Do you stick to your word? Can you resist temptation? Do you have the discipline to chase goals that matter? Can you make tough decisions and stick with them? Because if you can't control yourself, how could you ever lead her? Self-control is sexier than money because it shows direction, ambition, and certainty. A man who can delay gratification, who can resist immediate pleasure for long-term goals, who can say no when it matters, that's a man worth following. Women don't want a man who chases every distraction. They want a man who makes the world chase him. They want to see that you have standards, boundaries, and principles that can't be bought or broken. Consider the difference between two approaches. Man A constantly seeks approval, changes his opinions based on what he thinks she wants to hear, and abandons his goals whenever she shows interest in something else. Man B maintains his course, sticks to his values, and includes her in his journey without losing himself. Which man represents strength? Which one represents security? Think about it. Are you the man who sets the rules or the one who keeps breaking them? 4. Mystery and unpredictability. Here's the truth that men rarely want to admit. Women get bored fast. Money might impress her once, but if she can predict your every move, if you're completely transparent from day one, if there's no mystery left to unravel, the thrill is gone. This is basic human psychology. We're drawn to what we can't fully understand or control. We lose interest in what becomes too familiar or predictable. Dark psychology shows that women are drawn to men who keep a sense of mystery. A man who doesn't reveal everything at once. A man who has layers, depth, complexity. A man who is not fully owned no matter how much she tries. This doesn't mean being deceptive or playing games. It means maintaining your own life, your own interests, your own space. It means not being completely available at all times. It means having experiences and thoughts that don't revolve entirely around her. Even Stoic wisdom warns us about overexposure. Marcus Aurelius wrote about the importance of inner contemplation, keeping parts of yourself private, maintaining an inner sanctuary that belongs to you alone. The more predictable you are, the less value you hold. If she can map out your entire personality in the first few conversations, if she knows exactly how you'll react in every situation, if you have no surprises left to offer, why would she stay engaged? So learn this. Leave space for curiosity. Never be completely figured out. Have projects she doesn't know about. Have thoughts you don't immediately share. Have a life that exists independent of her validation. Because once she thinks she has you completely mapped out, once there's no mystery left to solve, once you become entirely predictable, attraction fades. Remember, a woman doesn't want a man she can control. She wants a man she can chase. 5. A strong frame and presence. Women crave men with unshakable frame. What does that mean? It means your world doesn't revolve around her. You invite her into your world. Most men lose themselves when they get attention from a woman. They bend, they break, they chase. They abandon their friends, their hobbies, their goals. They become satellites orbiting around her, hoping for scraps of attention and validation. But women are wired to desire the opposite. A man whose presence commands respect and sets the tone. A man who has his own gravitational pull. Psychology calls this dominant frame control. Stoics called it living by principle, never bending to desire or fear. It's about being unshakably centered in your own reality. When you have strong frame, you don't react emotionally to her moods. You don't change your values based on her approval. You don't lose your composure when she tests you. You remain steady, consistent, and true to yourself. This isn't about being stubborn or inflexible. It's about being grounded in who you are and what you believe. It's about having such a clear sense of your own direction that external pressures don't knock you off course. Money doesn't build frame. Character does. And here's the brutal truth. Women would rather have a man with a strong presence and no wealth than a rich man who is weak, needy, and easily swayed. Why? Because frame represents leadership. It represents the ability to handle whatever life throws your way. It represents the kind of man who can guide her through uncertainty and chaos. A man with weak frame might have millions in the bank, but he'll still seek validation, still get rattled by criticism, still change his mind based on whoever spoke to him last. That's not attractive. That's exhausting. So let me ask you, is she entering your world, or are you desperately trying to fit into hers? 6. Legacy and purpose. Here's the deepest truth of them all. Women crave a man with purpose bigger than himself. A man who's chasing a vision, not just a paycheck. A man who's building something that will outlast him. A man who has a mission that gives his life meaning and direction. Stoics believed life without purpose is slavery. And dark psychology agrees, because when a man has no mission, he becomes clingy, needy, and lost. He has nothing to occupy his mind except his relationship. He has no identity outside of being her boyfriend or husband, but a man with vision, he's unstoppable. He doesn't need validation because he knows where he's going. He doesn't need constant reassurance because he's confident in his path. He doesn't need to be entertained because he's engaged in meaningful work. And that more than money is what women deeply desire. Why? Because she knows that if she follows you, she's stepping into a life of growth, progress, and meaning. She's not just getting a boyfriend, she's joining a mission. She's becoming part of something larger than both of you. Money buys comfort, but purpose builds an empire. Think about the men throughout history who attracted remarkable women. Were they just the richest men of their era? Or were they men with powerful visions, artists, leaders, innovators, builders who were creating something meaningful? A man with purpose doesn't chase women. They're naturally drawn to his energy, his passion, his certainty about where he's going. They want to be part of the story he's writing. And here's the irony. When you focus on these 6 things, the money usually follows anyway. The real psychology of attraction. So now you know the truth. Women don't just want your money. They want your strength, your frame, your mystery, your discipline, your respect, and above all, your purpose. Forget what society tells you. Forget what dating coaches and pickup artists peddle. Attraction is psychology, not math. It's about the man you are, not the car you drive. Money is just a tool. But these 6 qualities, they're what make a man truly magnetic. They're what create the kind of attraction that money can't buy and circumstances can't destroy. Because here's the final truth. You can lose your wealth in a stock market crash. You can lose your job in a recession. You can lose your possessions in a fire. But you can never lose your character, your frame, your purpose, or your ability to control your emotions. These qualities are recession-proof, divorce-proof, and time-proof. If you found this powerful, remember, this is just the beginning. The rabbit hole of human psychology goes much deeper than most men ever dare to explore. Remember, money fades, but presence, power, and purpose, those are eternal.